everybody. Happy Inauguration Week. If you are watching on the YouTubes, which you should be.
You're in for a treat.
Because you see I have USA all over myself.
Of course. And I am wearing Madam Vice President.
We decided for this week's episode, we're going to put a little inauguration theme on this. It only happens every 4 years unless the president dies. Then it can happen more frequently. With Joe Biden, it is a concern. He is very old, so maybe it'll happen. Maybe Madame Vice President will become Madame President, and Bridget will just have to take a Sharpie to that shirt.
I don't know. I'll take a Sharpie. Okay, I hope I do.
So we'll see. But inaugurations are fun. You know, we try to stop it.
They're an occasion.
We're going to try and be happy and not, snarky as best as we can on this one. But so we decided we would do some fun inauguration themed things of this and celebrate America and all the presidents that have been president.
But let's be honest, this all started because we're like, oh my God, what's going to happen on Inauguration Day? If that shit happened on just a regular day at the Capitol, what's going to happen?
So we put out a little question to all of you that follow us on Facebook,
Very
Instagram.
important.
Oh, I guess I didn't pull up Instagram.
I know,
pulled
that's
Instagram. Yep, you pulled that one up.
It.
And we asked, who is your favorite fictional head of state? So a president, a vice president, a king, a queen, a chancellor, a dictator, a whatever.
This was a good one.
We got some awesome answers. So, Bridget, I want to throw you some of these and see what you think on these.
But let's discuss here. So if you saw this on social media, you didn't have to select only the people in the image. I think there was some confusion.
There was some confusion.
Until people started saying things like Joe Biden.
Yeah, somebody commented on Instagram that Joe Biden was their favorite fictional president, or as some people call him, Sleepy Joe.
Which is fair.
But you know what? Come Tuesday.
Yeah. Sorry,
man.
So then once that happened, the ball really got rolling.
So we got some good ones. A lot of people picked Jed Bartlett, Martin Sheen in West Wing. He's one of my favorite ones.
I have not. I know I would love West Wing, and I just haven't gone back and watched it.
Aaron Sorkin is like your type of writing, I feel like.
Well, I like everyone's told me I love that, right? Maybe you people don't know this, but I also love political dramas, but I don't love period pieces. So not that West Wing's period piece, but like
it is of the moment a little bit.
You can't go back too far.
Yep.
I'm not
it's like when watching Friends again. There's some of the things where you're like,
I don't know, but man, okay, we're gonna get off track.
A lot of that. Some people, we put up Julie Andrews in the Princess Diaries one. I think she's of Genovia, Queen of Genovia. I think she's a good one.
But what about my fave, which I know Shannon chimed in on? Designated Survivor.
Designated Survivor. We got some of that. Morgan Freeman, Deep Impact.
Couldn't that have happened? I think,
could have.
Which is why it's so timely.
I mean, it could have. We put it on my Facebook page. We got a nice couple of votes for Bill Pullman in Independence Day. We will not go quietly tonight.
Oh my God.
Independence Day.
That
it's a great movie.
A stretch. We have to admit, I mean, I'm sorry to say, but we do have to talk about House of Cards.
Yep, we got some of those.
I don't know. Did we get any? Okay, I know I mentioned it. I'm sorry, but I had to.
Dave DeSimone chose Charlie Chaplin's character in The Dictator, which was a call out to Hitler before Hitler became Hitler. It's kind of funny, but also too soon, Dave. Way too soon. Hitler jokes are still not funny.
Kind of like House of Cards.
It's too soon. Melissa Jordan, she said Dumbledore, but then she realized Dumbledore is not a head of state. He just runs a school, so it'd be Fudge. But Fudge did a terrible job dealing with the Death Eater, so I can't.
I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I don't know who Fudge is.
He was a minister of magic.
Okay. Maybe if you said Minister of Magic. I was forced to watch all of those movies at one point in my life.
Who's your favorite fictional president?
1,000,000% Kiefer Sutherland. I love him as an actor. I didn't realize how much I loved him till Designated Survivor, but also I had never heard of his role. Who's the Designated Survivor? I never heard of that whole system. So I loved that show for the very reason of I never thought something like this could actually happen, but it feels like it could. So I also just like him as an actor, and the show is gone. It lasted I don't know.
Didn't last very long, yeah.
So I think he's my favorite. I'm sure if I sat and thought longer, I would get more creative, but I love him.
Guess mine.
I can't begin to.
Aragorn from Lord of the Rings.
Okay, never
King
would have guessed
Alisar.
that.
Let's talk about him. First of all, he's very handsome. Viggo Mortensen's a very handsome man.
Is he head of state?
Yeah, he's king. He becomes king of men, of Gondor.
I've never seen Lord of the Rings.
And the North.
Okay.
He's, because he starts as a ranger of the North, and then he becomes king. He kills all of the bad people.
I think also I thought maybe
he's
we'd
married
keep
to an
it
elf
in America.
No,
not a made-up land, but we weren't very specific. So
I also think Leia Organa Solo is an excellent choice.
I think this goes to show exactly how we think differently. Like, I was like, well, this has to be some American fictional head of state.
Our friend Daniel, who's a big nerd, theater guy.
In the best way, Daniel.
Oh, yeah. He picked Jed Bartlett. Maybe he was thinking it had to be from the things, but I would have thought he would have had some weird sci-fi thing, too.
I'm really proud of him for not having that. Thanks, Daniel. Did my husband respond?
No, I think your husband would pick someone,
he would
interesting.
Pick Lord of the Rings. Maybe he would go with Star Wars. Tyler?
Tyler, are you listening?
Could you tell one of us who you talk to almost every day?
The other one I do like, Josie picked Julie Louis-Dreyfus in Veep. She started as the Veep, but then became president, so it counts.
I do. That was a good choice, especially fitting for this year with all the female power. Thanks, Josie.
That was a fun one. Thank you to everybody who answered. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
these are so fun. It was fun to follow along with. We'll have to come up with a good one for next week too.
I know, I love them. I love crowd participation.
I mean, next week's theme might be Civil War themed.
No, not going there, people. We'll
get away.
We'll do something more fun.
Bridget, tell us about your week.
Tell me about.
I'm going to open this bottle of wine here.
I was talking about this with someone where I think you go into the new year and you're like, I'm going to solve all of my dreams and plans for 2021 like in a week. And then after that first week, like I'll hit the ground running. So like we're in the second and a half
the
week?
54th week of 2020.
I'm going to call it second and a half week of 2021. And I feel like finally, like this last week was a blur to me. I like, you asked me about my week. I'm like, I don't know what I did this week, but I feel like I haven't slept in a week.
Do you know what I did?
What?
I got a shed.
Oh, yeah.
I got a shed. I'm very excited about this. So to people listening
that like don't live in Wisconsin,
you get a lot of stuff. You need snowblower, you need shovels, you need rakes, you need pools for your kid.
You need them.
You need all of these things, right? Because we got 5 acres here. We're the landowning gentry of the world. So we have a lot of stuff. We have a 3-car garage with our house. But, if you have all your stuff in the garage, we have like outdoor chairs, patio furniture, stuff like that. You can't use your garage if you have all your stuff in your garage. So we decided we would get a shed. And this isn't just like some little lean-to garbage plastic thing.
No.
This is like a 14 by 18 shed with a door, a window, and a roll-up garage door.
Yeah,
and we can store all of our stuff in there. It's got a loft. Elliot can go, jump up in the loft.
I don't want
He can sleep there.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's not heated.
I was like, is it insulated?
Bring an insulated sleeping bag.
Yes,
but,
Elliot.
Very excited about this shed. We've had it on order for a while. It comes fully made on a truck, and they drop it off and level it up.
One of those wide load trucks.
Yeah, it did have a sign that said a wide load.
I saw that as I pulled into the driveway. There was a big vehicle here. I saw your shed. Very exciting. I literally cannot think through what I did this week.
So you're excited for my shed?
I'm really excited for your shed. I'm so tired. I've just not been sleeping a lot. So that's cool. It's the weekend though, so that's super exciting. Got to FaceTime with Brittany, so she made it through her first week of legislative session, which was like really exciting news.
Have you saved the environment yet, Brittany? We're 3 weeks in, 2.5 weeks into 2021, and you're supposed to have that solved.
Okay, good. What are we drinking?
So
can we move on to
keep with
this?
our inauguration edition of the podcast,
I'm trying to figure this out.
We are drinking Black Stallion Cabernet Sauvignon.
Ooh.
And this is because this was served at the 2016 Presidential Inauguration dinner.
Like, I don't know how else to say this. Is this just like regular people wine?
Well, it was a very special version of this.
Oh, okay. It was like, is this just like wine I could buy?
Yeah, but it's very similar to what this is. And if you go on Black Stallion's website, you can buy more of their stuff.
Exciting.
It's a Delicato family wine. Friends of Lake Geneva Country Meats, friends of Nick Vorpagel. They're very nice people. And it's a great wine. It's $20. It's Napa Cabernet. Can't beat that price for Napa Cab.
How much was the bottle that they served at Inauguration Day?
Well, I think it was free because I think everybody just donates stuff.
Okay, how much would it be?
Probably like $90.
Oh.
So not stupid expensive.
I will drink this, but you guys, I will keep discussing this whole time. it's been like a weird closet dream of mine to plan like a state dinner or maybe an inauguration.
That would be fun. Maybe we could have a pop-up space for dinners, and we could do
for presidential dinners. Maybe. I've done events, for those of you that don't know me that are listening, I've done events for many years of my life. So I'm always thinking through like big events like, ooh, who picked out this china? What about the menu? Did they have 10 tastings? How'd they pick this linen? Blah, 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 blah. So I've always been curious, like, how does one get a job planning dinners at the White House or whatever? So this has been fascinating to me to learn about all the past Inauguration Day meals.
It's very, very interesting because this week's meal plan, stay tuned, has got some inauguration tie-ins that are kind of fun.
That's when I started like becoming obsessed when I was putting together the meal plan. I'm like,
I did too.
Yeah, I know.
I got kind of really obsessed. I was like, oh, this is all very interesting.
Okay, which leads us perfectly into, well, I didn't comment on this wine.
Yeah,
Obviously, I love it because it's a California
Cab. Yeah. I was like, this is a can't miss. Bridget's going to love this.
We're just going to drink this whole bottle while we talk.
This is going to be an entertaining podcast. Bridget hasn't been sleeping. Bridget doesn't know what day it is.
I don't know.
And she's got a whole bottle of California Cabernet in front of her.
So stay tuned for 35 minutes from now and see how I'm doing. I'm doing great. This is going perfectly into my news story for Inauguration Day.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to tell you about this. So I was looking up news stories. What could we do? We could talk about how Airbnb is canceling all the reservations. But like, funny. I think you've probably all heard that by now. So I'm like, interesting Inauguration Day history or stories, whatever. I run across a website and I see AOC.gov and I'm like, oh my God, it's AOC's website. I love her. I'm going to go see what she has to say.
That'd be the architect of the Capitol.
It sure would. But I was obviously multitasking and I'm like, I don't know. I just like brushed past
really?
it.
You don't know what AOC.gov is? It's
okay.
not, you didn't like walk past architect of the Capitol signs every day and be like,
this was also part of my story was like, I didn't even know this existed.
Isn't that a great job title?
So it is the Architect of the Capitol website, which I had no idea was the thing.
It's like a facilities manager, but way cooler title.
Well, and that's like, they quote the like Capitol woodworker in this article. So I'm sure there's like, I kind of started getting lost, but the one I happened to have pulled up was about the planning of Inauguration Day. And this was in 2012. So it's an old article. We will post it and then you'll get lost on this website because it's fascinating and there's some great pictures.
Yeah.
Because it's a very behind the scenes view. So this is like super lovely and fluffy. It's entitled One Team, One Mission, One Day. And it's all about like what the AOC's role is in planning events like this and how you start planning it the day after for the following inauguration, and I'm sure many other large events. But so anyway, they're talking about like my favorite thing is when they talk about one of these wood crafters and he's like, it's a very special day. Our whole shop is part of it and we take pride in the work we do to get ready for the ceremony. And like somewhere else he goes on to later talk about how like when we all come together, this beautiful thing happens. And it's just like such a hopeful, beautiful article that I just like to think is what's going to happen moving forward after this Inauguration Day.
I think that's the cool thing about a lot of the what would kind of derisively get called the bureaucracy of the Capitol and the federal government. You know, these guys, lazy guys. Why do we need a woodworker of the Capitol? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And it's for things like this. And it's men and women of, you know, not to be super cheesy, different political beliefs, different faiths, different ethnicities. They're a very diverse group of people because I've worked with a lot of them. And they're very normal people that have the same cool differing things as you and I.
Yeah.
But they always manage to put that together and be professionals to get the will of the American people done. And I think that's so cool. And I think we should be a little kinder to government workers because
government workers,
you know, they have to put aside a lot of this stuff to do what's good for everybody. And they usually do it.
I mean, it's also so this specific, obviously we're talking about a political event, but anyone who's ever planned an event, if you've attended an event and maybe never planned one, step back and realize how much work goes into these events. So, you know, there's a high voltage electrician at this event. They have someone who shovels the snow off of a platform after an unexpected snowstorm. Like all of those things have to happen before you can sit and peacefully enjoy an event. And then obviously we won't even go into the security. But this I thought was awesome because it's specifically not talking about the security, which everyone's talking about this year, but it's behind the scenes, all the crap that goes into planning an event when you just like take for granted, like, oh, cool, those flags are hanging there. Like someone had to get those out of storage and hang them.
The amount of foresight that has to go into stuff like that. I was reading this article about how the Swedish Navy planted these super specific oak trees 200 years ago because that's how long it takes these trees to be ready for wooden ships, not knowing that we wouldn't have wooden ships anymore. But the United States Navy and like a lot of churches and things do that too, where they know they're going to have to replace. That was one of the big things when the Notre Dame Cathedral had the fires. Like, how are we going to replace these huge wooden beams? And there's actually forests that like churches have grown for these very. I just love this, like, hey, you know, in 200 years we're going to need this. I love that forethought. It
was cool. It's a nerdy, I'm going to call it an industry thing, as if I'm nearly as cool as any of the people in this article, but whatever. It was a cool look at event planning.
So I pulled up an article from the History Channel that wasn't about UFOs, which is to me even more of a shocker.
Thank you.
But it was about 10 unexpected moments in presidential inauguration history.
There's a good list.
Some cool stories in here. One of my favorite ones is Ulysses S. Grant's inauguration. His second one was one of the coldest days in D.C. Wind chill was 30 below zero.
Ooh.
The flags all froze.
Someone had to deal with that.
Had to take all the military cadets that got frostbite to the hospital.
Oh
God. The most tragic thing was in the they had this temporary structure for the ball, and it wasn't equipped for cold weather.
Oh no!
They had all the champagne froze.
Oh, that is tragic.
As bad as that is, they had 100 canaries hanging from the ceiling in cages that were supposed to be the song for it, and they all froze to death and died.
Oh, no! Not even one survived? Come on. Oh, my gosh, this is fascinating. Now I want to read every one of them.
Richard Nixon's second inauguration was held at the Smithsonian Museum of History and Technology, which we now know as the American History Museum. And they had a farm exhibit at the time. A rooster escaped from it and started assaulting guests. And the Smithsonian secretary had to chase it down and get it back to the colonial barn.
It's brilliant. Brilliant.
And then this has actually happened a few times, but I think it's funny because it's Barack Obama and he is, you know, he was a little exuberant. He got the words wrong.
Yeah, someone else, I was just reading, where was it? Kennedy, I think it sounds like he did too. Yeah.
Lyndon Johnson got the words wrong for his vice presidential one.
Gotta be nerve-wracking.
So him and John Roberts decided they got back together the next day and made sure they got the wording right, because there were some people out there that were like, well, he didn't say that, because it is a constitutionally prescribed oath. So it's
a big deal.
If he didn't do it word for word.
Yeah.
So, you know, he also wasn't born in America, so... Well, I said no snark. Darn it. Failing.
Yeah, come on. I mean, Jimmy Carter's here. Hilarious. He has a $175 suit. Love when a politician has a great, like, normally priced something.
I think there's some other stuff about Obama, and, you know, some of it was about Michelle and her couture, which always was on point.
Not always couture. That's the point.
But my favorite thing was what came out with the Constitution when her was she definitely has the right to bear arms.
Okay. Bringing the dad joke back.
Presidential inauguration joke. Be right back.
Taking a break. We're back. That was a really good timing, like...
We got it.
Anyway, we're back with my fave.
I'm going to have to take that clip out and use it in some of our transitions.
Yeah, could you just do it on repeat like a boomerang? For those of you that aren't watching, we're like yielding finger guns,
which are not allowed at inaugurations.
Like, I feel like this is bad. Okay. Anyway, we're here with product recommendations. And like any good, I don't know, I wish I could tie this to a Michelle Obama couture joke, but I can't. I'm talking about my clothes.
Because you're not a dad, you're a mom.
It's because there's not mom jokes as bad as dad jokes. I'm talking about my sweatshirt. So I love good apparel. Like you will recall, apparel and accessories. I had my vote necklace because it's a nice passive way to tell people that they should vote without being terribly in their face. So I am wearing this Madam Vice President sweatshirt.
It depends on how tall they are. If they're at your neck level, then it is in their face.
I mean, if I'm sitting down.
Boom, dad joke.
Jesus. Okay, this beautiful sweatshirt can be purchased on Etsy by many different makers. I'll link the one that I purchased. But also, you can buy a million different shirts. I chose to go the direction of the female empowerment this year, of course, because for 1,000 reasons. But I am giving each of my sisters one of these sweatshirts. Surprise!
Surprise!
Hopefully you've gotten it in the mail by now, Brittany. So each of these are my sisters. We're going to wear them while we're watching the inauguration. And my kid, as you know, is super astute and always asking me things like, what does your sweatshirt say? And I just thought about how cool it was that he's going to be able to watch an inauguration where there's a woman actually being sworn in, which, so hopefully he just grows up thinking that's a normal part of society. So, Madam Vice President, crew neck sweatshirt for all of your sweatshirt needs.
Mine is more America themed than inauguration themed. And this is something I've always wanted. My uncle actually has some of these, and I'm jealous.
Oh, wow.
But look at these.
Yeah, these are bright.
These are Andy Roddick Editions Babolat Propulse 3 Stars and Stripes tennis shoes. They're not in, production anymore. They're from like 2012.
Oh, that makes sense.
You need to get these on the sneaker eBay. But they are the most disgustingly America shoes you will ever seen. They are.
There's something.
They got the what you call the like solid leather part.
I have no idea.
In the middle of the shoe, towards the back of the shoe, that has to be a little bit more solid. It's a blue, the American flag blue with stars.
Yeah.
And then towards the toe, it's red and white striping. They are disgusting. They are flashy.
They patriotic.
Say, I give no anythings. I support America.
Wow.
Andy Roddick wore these as he was killing people at the U.S. Open, representing for America. I loved watching him in these. He's very funny on all the social media. You should follow him if you don't. And if you're into sneakers or you just like America or tennis, if you're into tennis, you know these shoes.
Okay. Are they pretty like?
Yeah,
is it
they're
something
pretty.
People
it's
talk
like
about in the tennis world?
Fashion is big in tennis, obviously.
I don't know, man.
Tennis
is just like very far removed from a sport that I watch.
The people are very into the fashion. Like Nike's rolling out collections. Everybody's rolling out collections every Grand Slam. So. So you should check out these shoes. They're awesome.
They're bright.
If you buy some, you should probably send them to me. I'm a size 13.
Yeah, everybody.
Actually, maybe a little bit bigger than these because they're probably a little tight.
Because they're tennis shoes?
Yeah, I mean, look at them. Don't they look tight?
I don't know, man. They look like they're from 2012.
So that's our product recommendations for this week.
We'll be right back.
Be right back.
Hello, everybody.
We're back, and we were talking that maybe Bridget should, she's a very team-oriented person, but maybe she should get into tennis because instead of a uniform, she could express herself.
I said, I don't know, sports I watch have uniforms, so I don't know. But I have talked about golf clothing a lot with my dad. So anyway, we were just talking about clothing on the break.
All right, but it's time for Interesting Questions with Bridget and Nick. And luckily it's my week,
I know,
I have some really fun presidential-themed Would You Rathers for Bridget.
I am feeling like you're going to like...
Tilt my screen.
Okay.
Okay, so these are fun. They're about all sorts of different presidents. So don't get on me about any sort of, you didn't pick. They're about all sorts of different presidents. So the first one is Bush-themed. Would you...
Good.
So George H. Bush, well known for liking to jump out of airplanes.
Okay.
For his birthdays to celebrate. So would you rather jump out of an airplane with George H. Bush... or do the Bob Ross style painting along with George W. Bush, who's now well known for doing paintings to benefit wounded warriors?
Okay, this is a good question.
Because I know you want to do the jump out the airplane thing, but
I've
also
jumped out
you're
of an
Bob
airplane.
Rossi.
So I've already jumped out of an airplane, but I think it'd be cool to do with H. But
and we're assuming he's alive, by the way.
Yeah, for the record. I'm actually going to choose Bob Ross painting because W was a very part of my life, so I think that would be incredibly boring, I would like to talk to him. I just think that would be really interesting because I grew up with him.
I'm going to choose W.
Yeah.
He's a really cool guy. Say what you want about him. He's like a dude.
Yeah.
And I would love to do that. And, we raise some money for wounded warriors.
Yeah. And I mean, I've already jumped out of a plane. I've never painted a Bob Ross thing.
I'm very interested in that, but, I don't have enough life insurance yet.
I mean, okay, different episode. We'll talk about it.
Would you rather have a nickname of Tricky Dick, like Richard Nixon, or Old Granny, which was William Henry Harrison's nickname? He was 68 when he's elected, so they called him an Old Granny. And then he died 31 days into his term. Because he got the pneumonia from his inauguration because he was out in the cold delivering a 2-hour speech.
Is that true?
Yes. So Tricky
that's
Dick.
Why he died?
Yes. So don't stand out. It was one of the things people were worried about with Trump, in all honesty. They're like, hey, man, you're not exactly like a spring chicken. So if it's going to be 10 below,
bundle up.
So, I mean, Joe Biden, also no spring chicken.
Bundle up.
So would you rather be called Tricky Dick or Old Granny?
Well, my gut was Tricky Dick, so I could do my finger guns. Tricky Dick. But I'm going to go with Old Granny because I'm a woman and I will be an old granny before I know it, I'm sure. And I cannot wait till I'm an old granny can like wear ugly sweaters and have it be normally accepted. Old Granny. I'm guessing you want to be Tricky Dick.
I want to be Tricky Dick. I think it's a great one. There's another one I thought about. I wanted to give you a female option, but I could have gone with Andrew Old Hickory Jackson.
I like Old
Hickory. Or Tricky Dick. You could be Old
Hickory
or Tricky Dick.
Old Hickory for sure. That sounds like a finely aged bourbon, which I hate. But, it sounds good.
So this one I think is going to be tough for you.
Oh, great.
Actually, the last 3 ones are tough for you, I think.
But last 3?
I got 3 more.
Jesus.
Would you rather go on an outdoor adventure to one of the national parks that he founded with Theodore Roosevelt? Or would you rather go boating off of Hannesport with JFK?
Oh, dang. That is a toughie. Can I ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
Do I get to pick the park?
Yeah.
And do I get to drive the boat?
Yeah.
What kind of boat?
It's one of Kennedy's wood boats. And you can be boating in the Caribbean, off Massachusetts, in the Pacific, in PT 109, whatever you want.
I want to go boating. I want a
Will
photo.
there be boat cheese?
Can I have... Is there boat cheese and champagne? And can I take a picture of me in a boat, a wooden boat?
Jackie O is there too.
Yes! Wearing something fancy next to Jackie O. Obvious choice. Jackie O is maybe one of the top 5 people I'd like to have.
There's also probably drugs on the boat, so
That's why I chose it.
Perfect.
What do you want to do?
I'm not big into roughing it like Teddy Roosevelt would be. I'm pretty sure he would be like, up at 3 in the morning, like, let's go find some bears to shoot. And I'd be like, hey, TR,
I'm going on the boat.
Can we chill, man?
Can we go meet Bridget? She's out on the boat.
I was kind of watching these stars. Up and at 'em, carpe diem. I would like to meet Teddy Roosevelt. I've seen the Night at the Museum movies. He's insane. So yes, I'm also going to go boat with JFK.
I'd like to do both of those. But
I thought it'd be fun.
But I do love a
Brittany
Kennedy.
screaming.
Brittany will take me to the national park. So There you go.
Would you rather watch Hamilton with noted villain of the musical, Thomas Jefferson, or watch the movie Lincoln with Abraham Lincoln and have his commentary on what's true and not?
Oh, God.
Because Jefferson would just bitch throughout the entire thing.
So, actually, I haven't seen Hamilton, and I know I should. Everyone has told me I should. I intended to. I don't have a lot of 4 free hours. I actually really would like to meet Honest Abe. So if I could just travel all the way back, or if, he could
has to come this way because there's no movies back then.
Yeah. Also, him coming here would be a fascinating journey. So if he could see what the world looks like now, Honest Abe it is.
Last question.
Good, man. Wait, which one do you want?
I want to watch Hamilton with Jefferson because I think hearing him just bitch about Alexander Hamilton nonstop, and also the language gap, and they're like, "What is this music?"
Would they be singing? Yeah, would they be singing?
Oh yeah,
would he sing while we sit there?
Jefferson?
Yeah.
No, he'd just be watching it with us.
Oh, well, I'd like him to sing along.
Well, I'm sure we could.
I feel like he could sing along.
He probably could. He's a noted. What they have some? Oh, he was called Long Tom because he was very tall.
Oh, was he?
He was 6'5".
Should we call Tyler Long Tie?
Long Tie.
Long Tie. Sounds like actually an Indian, like a chief Indian's name.
Last one.
Okay.
Would you rather have a beer with White House brewer and noted beer connoisseur Barack Obama?
Oh, man.
Or a glass of champagne with noted wine drinker and fashion icon Michelle Obama?
Dude, not fair. I'm going to say that I am going to be able to pull off both of them. I actually really want to meet Michelle Obama. I think that would be awesome. I mean, that's an impossible question. But I want to have a glass of champagne, but mostly I think it'd be really fascinating, especially this year, to meet Michelle Obama.
I'm going to have a beer with Barry.
Yeah, Barry.
Beers with Barry.
That's a really good question.
We could bro out. We could play some hoops.
This is why I'm not
Did
having
you see
a beer.
him do comedians having coffee in cars, the episode he did? Yeah, he did one with Seinfeld, and it's Seinfeld's show where he drives one of his cars to pick some comedian up, and they have a cup of coffee and talk
Pretty
about
funny.
It's funny, and he did one with Obama while he was president, like kind of on his way out, where Obama's just like, I got a year of nothing happening.
Yeah.
The Republicans have the Senate, like I'm just gonna do cool stuff.
I'm gonna brew some beer.
So he did an episode with Seinfeld, and it was really funny because they did a shtick of like he couldn't drive off the premise and stuff like that. Yeah. So it was funny.
I'm just gonna sit here and like be upset that I have to both never think those things are gonna happen because they're not, but also
you never know.
You're right. I mean,
they get an omaze sometimes and do things like that.
If I'm having champagne with Michelle Obama, I'd like to think that like maybe I could just like meet the hubs somehow. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Those were great.
Thanks,
you
Bridget.
You did a great job. I was really nervous that you were going to stick me in some weird political corner.
No, I wanted to make it fun, and we actually got a shout out at the store from W one time. He was driving by and said, "Hello, Vorpagel family, how y'all doing?" He was actually supposed to stop in, but then there was a security
when he
thing.
came to town?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
It would have been, and I wouldn't even been there because I was at his rally.
Downtown?
No, at Kenosha the day. Yeah, it was very sad, but
I remember him driving through town. I remember like standing by.
It's really cool. Like it's really cool to have a president. It doesn't really matter.
That. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
There's maybe one president I'd have been like, no, peace out, and that is Andrew Johnson.
Just the one?
Andrew Jackson, sorry. Lyndon Johnson, I would have been scared to have him in, but he would have killed me.
Good thing you didn't stop by.
Okay, so this week we're talking meal plan, and tell us about this week's meal plan because it's kind of cool.
We're not actually going to give you a million options this week because what we want you to do is travel back in time with us. And like we talked about earlier, like I think it's fascinating to see the fun stories of past events, how these events happen, but also what they ate and drank.
I love seeing the culinary habits of their time. Taste of Home will target me with these 1950s Christmas recipes you can try. I'm like, I'm
trying them all. Now we're going to get targeted with all of it. So Nick actually said he ran across an article, and then we both, I think, spent way too much time deep diving into this. So I, of course, as usual for me, couldn't make a decision, but went with this one. So what we did was pick some of our past favorite inauguration meals / stories. So our meal plan this week, we'll talk about the meals and then share a little tidbit about the story behind that meal and why it is what it is, because they're funny.
And y'all can make one of your own. A lot of restaurants in DC are doing inauguration themed takeout things that are funny and wink, wink, nudge, nudge jokes. So I think it's cool. So you could do your own, this is something we should all celebrate.
I mean, this is part of why I chose the one I did, because it's totally approachable, something I could make. There is a funny one. Yeah,
because you can buy it at Lake Geneva Country Meats.
Yeah, see? And when I say make, I mean buy. There was a funny one that was just snacks.
Yes.
So I was going to choose that one, but I chose a meal.
Jimmy Carter, because he's a noted cheapskate.
No, it was the one that was marching in the parade. Okay, anyway, that's not
it was Carter.
Was it? Okay. Yeah.
Well,
so what I actually chose was Roosevelt. So Franklin Roosevelt, in 1945, it says, in the interest of wartime rationing, which okay, but also maybe because this was easy. Franklin Roosevelt's housekeeper served guests cold chicken salad. This is my favorite part. Rolls without butter.
I mean, come on.
Yes, rolls without butter, coffee with no sugar, and cake with no frosting.
Gross.
At the president's 4th inauguration. So, this is funny.
There was a funny quote about that, too, where one of the guests went to the housekeeper and said, "You did a great job. How did you make chicken salad with so little chicken and so little celery?"
So, mayo? But, I don't like sugar in my coffee, so I'd be on board. I like rolls, with or without butter, if they're good rolls. So, I'm on board for this. I don't like too much frosting on my cake, so, this meal's for me.
So, Jimmy Carter was a peanut farmer, and he served, peanuts and,
and pretzels.
Yeah, pretzels. Yes. So, one of my favorite things is if you are lobbying in the Capitol, you need a snack, you go to one of the Georgia members' offices because they have an endless supply of peanuts and Coca-Cola. Because Coca-Cola bribes the crap out of the Georgian office people.
Smart.
With just constant Coke, hey guys, we love Georgia. And then just the Georgia peanut farmers are like, hey, show everybody some of our peanuts.
Ooh,
we love
smart.
our peanuts. So, you can just go there and get snacks. Tip. So, if you're at the Capitol and you're about to pass out,
that's where I need to go.
That's where you need to go.
My doctor,
Coca-Cola.
Yes. My doctor said, when you need that sugar, you drink soda. I'm like, I don't have
also
a lot of
salty
soda.
peanuts. It's perfect.
Dude, that's great.
So they may have stopped it
sugar.
recently. Actually, they may have stopped it recently because of some sort of BS anti-bribery laws.
Many things.
But I do think the way the Atlanta companies all stick together
is funny.
Is really kind of fun. Air Train always had Coca-Cola and peanuts, and they had a Home Depot themed.
I love that.
It's
good for them, man.
Hotlanta, living it.
We got Quick Trip and Culver's here.
Yeah, if I'm ever president, it's going to be a Quick Trip catered inauguration
Glazers
dinner.
And Culver's burgers. Awesome.
So my favorite meal
good.
was Ronald Reagan. He was a smoker. He was in Hollywood, had to smoke probably to keep that weight off, look fabulous. And he used Jelly Bellies to not smoke, basically. This is before nicotine, so he just popped some
different kind of drug. Sugar.
And so for his inauguration meal, he got, I can't remember that, it was some ridiculous amount of Jelly Bellies shipped to him.
I saw that.
And the beans were some of his favorite flavors, and they were, of course, red, white, and blue. So they were cherry, coconut, which is a terrible Jelly Belly flavor.
It's good mixed with other things.
And blueberry.
Nice. That's hilarious. It was actual Jelly Belly brand, right?
Actual Jelly Belly brand.
That's important.
Very important.
That's hilarious. Okay, so can we make that meal? Can I have that this week?
Sure.
And can it be my favorite meal for next week's podcast?
Yes. Okay. My favorite meal was I sat there honoring Ronald Reagan, God bless, R.I.P., watching Joe Biden be sworn in, eating my Jelly Bellies.
And drinking my champagne. I think for a long time I knew nothing about politics, and I only said I liked Ronald Reagan because Shannon, me, and Ryan Cocroft, my grade school, and maybe other people, I don't remember, we did a report on Reaganomics. And it's like, all I know about Ronald Reagan is like whatever grade I was in, I had to do a report on Reaganomics. So I used to be like, yeah, he's my favorite president.
He had some good speeches.
I mean, that's literally all. I have no reason to like
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Oh,
Who can forget that? I think that'd be a fun one. Like sometime if your neighbor, you have lovely neighbors, but like if they build a wall, you could be like, tear down this wall.
If they build a wall.
Start throwing Jelly Bellies at them.
If my neighbors build a wall, I'm going to think there's probably
My neighbors built a wall.
That's true. It's called a fence.
It's actually called a berm.
Oh, yeah, the berm. You're right. It is like a berm. I mean, it is a wall of dirt.
It was like a 20-foot wall of dirt.
Hey, guys, welcome to the neighborhood. Okay.
Down this wall. Now, we really hope you guys enjoyed all the presidential fun on this one. If you have some favorite presidential food tidbits, whatever, let us know.
Or
We'd
tell
love
us
to hear
what you're
it.
doing for the inauguration.
Lyndon Johnson was a beef rancher. We could have done some Lyndon Johnson stuff.
Yeah.
He was a interesting person.
I'm having a Zoom party with my sisters for inauguration, and we're dressing up. I mean, I'm going to wear this with like a ball gown. Because we want a reason to dress up, and what better reason? Yeah, that's
America,
how it all
it's
started.
a great reason.
We're like, we just want to dress up. And I know that it's at noon. So that evening when it's all over the TV again is when we're going to do it.
Nice.
Yeah, busy night.
I'm probably just going to tune in, and watch it and hope Joe Biden says something interesting that makes the stock market go up.
Oh, Nick. Okay, everybody. Guess what it's time for? Kid Corner!
All right, everybody. Bridget, what do you got?
I'm sticking with inauguration theme, guys. I mean, I'm mostly sticking with presidential theme, and I'm sure I've touched on this, but I am super proud and also a little ashamed of how much I've told Elliot about politics this year. So
he asked me how a bill becomes a law.
Yes.
And when I started singing him the, I'm just a bill song, he said, I talked to Boo and she said that is not how that works.
You are wrong. He's asking some interesting questions, but we very much as parents take the approach of like, we can't hide the world from him. So we want to tell him about the things before he finds out from someone else at school or like some
smart
news,
approach,
news in the background that we can't control or whatever. So, yes, I'm a control freak. So I choose to control the narrative. So we did talk a lot about what's going on with the Capitol, but yeah, it went deep down into like, what is Congress? So anyway, early on during the election, we have some stellar footage of Elliot cheering on Joe Biden. And I think it's a little confused because Tyler discusses his love for Bernie Sanders. And he calls him
Tyler's a Bernie bro.
A Bernie bro. And so I think Elliot is a little confused. So we are Biden bros. So it is awesome. It's great. I just am going to smile about the fact that he seems interested in it now. I know he's 4. And the point is we can talk openly about it. And I'm super excited. And Biden bros.
Biden bros. Mine's about teething. And we've talked about teething before. Simona is in a bad place. She's such a good baby. And like she's a toddler, I guess.
She's a toddler.
She's so good. She's so happy. And on Monday, when she came home from daycare, it said in there, Simona was a little more emotional than usual today.
Spirited.
And I'm like, what does that mean? And then we had her for about 10 minutes, and she would do something like play with her stacking cups nicely, like she does. She likes the stacking. And then take them and chuck them and start screaming, just absolutely screaming for someone to pick her up. And then, you'd hold her for about 2 minutes, and then she'd start jumping and she'd go play with something else. And I think it's because, all of the teeth coming in. You can see that she's got some on the bottom, some on the top coming in. And I'm sure she's in excruciating pain all the time.
Can you imagine?
We can only drug her so much.
Yes, everybody. That's
yes, everybody. Children's Tylenol for teething pain is totally acceptable. I am not a bad parent.
It's okay.
Sarah's the one doing the dosing. She's stuck with that whole deal. She does a much better job of it than I do.
I always underdose.
Here you go. Sarah's very scientific, very good, very patient. She does a wonderful job with that.
Does she like the medicine?
Yeah, she's okay with it.
Our kid, Elliot used to suck it down like juice, and Lucy hates it. Shocker.
So I just, why is it so painful? Like, we obviously need teeth.
Can you imagine though? Like I don't know. Poor kids.
Sharks just have endless teeth.
Yeah.
Just like
sharks.
popping in and
Why
out.
Why can't our toddlers be more like that?
She's good at the Baby Sharks song.
Oh God, don't do it. Don't do it.
Baby Shark.
Guys, we're moving past that.
So anyway, why teething? What the heck?
I was really hoping for you to sing an America song for us.
God bless America.
I fully expected some kind of tribute.
Land that we love.
You're welcome, everybody. Thank you for listening to this.
Would you like me to complain about the Star Spangled Banner?
No, don't complain. We are happy. We are positive. It is Inauguration Week, and we are pumped.
So a little behind the scenes, we hope you enjoy the pomp and the Hail to the Chief with some ruffles and flourishes.
Nick listens to this a lot and told me lots of band things about it.
Because I had to make sure that we could play it without getting sued. Because, we have to have licenses for the music we use. Shocking thing to people that are maybe interested in getting into podcasting. You can't just play any music that you want that other people own. You have to license it.
In trouble.
Big time trouble. So I had to research that. And then I got some of the band nerd stuff. So very excited about that. Which is
like a foreign language to me. So.
And the title of this episode is Inauguration 2020. I'm guaranteeing you I'm going to misspell it somewhere.
2021.
Damn it.
Yeah, he's doing great. So the actual title, I know, inauguration, Nick and I were both saying
cannot spell it.
We can't spell it. Like, my Zoom invite for inauguration says Inaug, fancy lunch. So anyway, we're doing great. We hope if it's misspelled, sorry, you know what we mean.
God bless America. Long live Joe Biden and prosper.
And Madam Vice President.
May we all come together and enjoy a prosperous 4 years and do this crap all over again without
4 more years. And let's be like
more chill.
The woodworkers and the electricians, and let's think more like that back in 2012. So moving forward.
If you have any thoughts, any ideas for questions or themes for next episodes, things you'd like us to talk about, hello@dinnerplusdrinks.com. Drop us an email.
You can always find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, Dinner Plus Drinks Podcast.
We appreciate all your support. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing. Hope you enjoy this episode. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.